Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, it's that time of the year again. It's that time of the day again. Every couple of months, we've got to figure out what we're doing, where we're collecting, what our collections have become. We've brought the commander-in-chief of collecting back to the bar on this one. That's your new name. That's what I'm going to just call you from now on.
My business card. That's it. I'm putting it on there.
That's your new business card, is commander-in-chief of collecting. There's nothing you can do about that. I have dubbed you this. This is who you are. Back with us, folks, is Mr. Doug Dreier. He is here. We're going to be talking collecting, collectibles, what's hot. We're going to get into NFT. I know that's the big thing now. Doug was telling me he's got billions upon billions of dollars in NFT now. He sold everything. He actually sold both of his kidneys and part of his liver for it. He says that's all that matters. Who cares about anything else? Keep your Bitcoins. He needs NFTs. I don't know. And we're going to get into it. So, brother, man, welcome back as always.
Glad to be back. Always happy to talk to you. Always thrilled to be here and connect coast to coast as it is. I always enjoy connecting with you. That's what we do, connectors. That's why we're here, right?
So that's all collecting really truly is getting those connections going for different people for different reasons. And I'll tell you, man, you've got some cool stuff going on, and we're going to get ready to get into it. Before we get into that, let's get our house cleaning done as always, as we have to do as the bar opens up. First thing, as always, if you didn't catch Saturday's show, I saved this one for today also. We had a phenomenal show. If you didn't catch it, I will highly recommend everyone go out, check out Taryn. I got brand new. Do you hearing that popping noise? Or is that just on my end? We had Taryn. What is going on here? I just got a brand new set of headphones. All right, we had Taryn Hadfield. Got to saying wrong shit all over the place. So we had Taryn Hadfield on with us over the weekend on Saturday, doing some Saturday music. Phenomenal young lady. Like, amazing voice. She's got a new song out called Manic Pixie Dream Girl, which I highly recommend everyone to check out. Phenomenal artist, lives up in Seattle. And there's a great story about her and Seattle, so make sure you go check that out. At the same time, we did our sticker and a cause, as we always do, and we had Miss God, I almost had it, forgot. I am having a hell of a time talking today, and I haven't had much bourbon at all.
I'm going to say you've been at the bar a little bit too long today already.
Been at the bar too long already. So we had Carrie V on with us, and Carrie dropped off a new sticker. I was on her show a few weeks ago, and it's like the opposite of ours. It's coffee and tea with Carrie V. So she's got a morning show. So it's coffee and tea, and then you can come here to the Above the Bar and you can get bourbon. So it's kind of like
a whole day of talk. I like it.
Like you can just get all the jibber jabber you could ever want out of your life.
You got to find a lunch place. Maybe I'll fill in that lunch area. We've got coffee and tea. We've got a lunch. We'll do a dinner. And then we'll do the bar. We got it covered, man.
Oh, we could do donuts with Doug.
There you go.
Coffee and tea with Carrie.
I'll do the dinner one before the bar.
There you go. Dinner with Doug. But she dropped off a sticker, so she's going to go up here on the board here in a little bit for sticker and a cause. Just a phenomenal. She's so great. Just a good person. I'm wondering if something's going bad with my mic. Like, are you hearing like a popping noise, or is it just me?
I'm not hearing a popping noise. My AC just went on. I can go turn that off. I don't know.
Your what just went on?
My air conditioning.
Why would your air
conditioner? You guys have that back east? Yeah.
why would your air conditioner be going off at this time
it's
of the year?
Big building. You know, I can go turn it off if you need that to happen. But can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine. I'm just wondering if I'm going to switch my mic around, see if that helps out any of it. But so we had Carrie V on, and then as always, if your media is looking for that upgrade, make sure you reach out to Media by Dibs. mention Belly Up to the Bar. He's going to give you a 10% discount on all your media and a free consultation. So if you're looking for that upgrade, make sure you check out Media by Dibs. Now we're going to get into it. Where do we want to start at, Doug? Like, because you got so much going on. And Tom popping in, Cujo Halstead. What's up, brother, man? You're already done. Like, I got to ask it. So you've got, where do we want to start? Let's start with DCD.
DCD Collects. All right. So DCD Collects is, I'm DCD, Douglas Chad Dreier. And it came out of a thing I've done for years on eBay where I was DCD Sports on eBay and sort of shifted around into buying and selling a little bit of comic art, autographs, and so forth. Partnered with my friend Trevor, who has been here on the podcast, kind of popped in behind me. He's not here today, though. Where we were putting together these mystery boxes. We started out doing sport theme, but we really delved into the non-sport. We've really enjoyed working with artists. And so what we're doing through DCD Collects are mystery breaks. And essentially, you're buying a slot. For example, we'll build a break that will have 25 boxes in it. Each box will have an autograph or a sketch from some theme, Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman, you pick. There'll be an autograph, there'll be a sketch. In addition, there'll be guaranteed limits, like there'll be packs of cards, there'll be stickers, there'll be pins. And then what'll happen is you buy one of those and you have a chance of getting a hit. And the hits are higher value. So there'll be you buy a box for $100. There's a bunch in there that are worth $250, $300. Some are going to be a little lower in value. Some will be higher. Those hits are going to be name artists, higher end, rare autographs. So that's what we're doing through there. We're building a community through that. We're trying to just build up people coming in for a 2-hour break. We break them online together.
Now, hold on before you get too far into that. Because I want to say this first. So tell people what a break is, because we were talking about this a little bit beforehand. I don't necessarily know what a break is.
You'll see them now. They're huge on YouTube quite often, and they're usually associated with baseball cards or sports cards where you'll buy into a break. Someone will have a box of cards, and let's just say a value of $500 for that box. Rather than buying that box, they'll break it into spots. So there's 30 teams. You would buy one for $50 or just, whatever the number would be. And so you're not really having to buy the entire box. You're buying a chance. And what will happen is when the break starts, they will assign you randomly a team or a letter or some way of designating what your slot will be. For example, you buy into a break for football, you might pull the Baltimore Ravens, I might pull the Los Angeles Rams. They open up the box of cards, pack by pack. Any card that is that team, where it's like, say you pull Lamar Jackson or a Jalen Ramsey for me, any card that is of that team, you would get. So you have a chance of only getting commons if that's all that's pulled. But if there's also a one-of-one Lamar Jackson NFL Shield card worth thousands of dollars, you have a chance you would get that as well. So you're putting $50 in or $100 or whatever the break relates to. You're going to get whatever is that assignment. So what happens for ours, we have 25 boxes. We number them randomly. We stack them up, 25. We number them. We put in 25 numbers into a random generator, and it spits out a random order. We number them in that order. And then we put in all the names, and then we randomize those. Then we match them up. So you would pull, say you're number 4. Well, we open up box number 4 for you, and you might have an autograph in there. It might be a sketch card. It might be the bigger number. I see my man Ice Wolf down there commenting. You have a chance at nothing on the higher dollar products, that few cards. So say you're opening a pack of National Treasure that has 5 cards in there, but they sell 30 slots. You might not get anything at all, but you also, if you get one hit, you can get a multi-$1,000 card.
Oh, really?
$100,000 card in basketball. For these higher end products, they might have a pack with a single card inside. and you
How much is a
all get
pack though by itself? Just how much is a pack?
pack for that might be $2,000.
Oh,
So what they do is they sell 30 slots, and you have it. So they build it up that way. Everybody gets a chance, and it comes out. Say it's a Mike Trout, or it might be a Justin Herbert rookie shield card. If you pulled the Bengals or Herbert, yeah, you pulled the Chargers, you've all of a sudden got a couple $1,000 card for a smaller investment. That's how breaks work. It can be done by team, it can be done by random number, it can be done by letter. That's a break, and they're so popular on eBay. I'm sorry, YouTube and Twitch and so forth. I see Trevor down there too. Trevor's popping in through the chat, so we're doing pretty well. That's a break, and so that's what we've been doing on our thing.
so that's pretty cool, man. So I don't know, like I said before, I don't know enough about these breaks, but yeah, there's the guy you were talking about. DC, we were actually just talking about you. It's a good thing there are no losers in DC collects breaks. So look at that. And this is the gentleman you were just telling me about that was doing all the
Correct. This
breaks.
is our breaker, and Trevor was there. So really, we have created this DCD Collects community, and what we found is where we go, they follow, and it's worked out really well for the artists we've worked with. They found that the artists that have done work for us, then our people will go to them, commission artwork, buy stuff they've had. It's really just we're building this larger community, and we're doing it in a way where we're proud of it, where we're creating product that we'd want to buy. And that's sort of our guiding principle of what do we do when we build these? What are we proud of? Can we be proud of it? Are people going to be happy? Because what we want is for you to buy a box.
Oh, Doug. So we're having technical difficulties. So somehow we just lost Doug. I'm not sure what happened to him. We get Doug back. Why'd you run away from him?
I don't know, but we're building something where we want you to come back. We were thinking long term. We want you to be enjoying the entire process. And when we say the process, we do these breaks live where everybody's in the chat room talking. So you feel like you're in a baseball card store or a bar with your friends, and we're opening up stuff together. It's very communal. And so you're getting razzed if you lose something. You're getting cheered if you get something. It's about being a family and a community.
All right, now, okay, it stopped. Good. I was concerned there for a minute. I was like, I'm hearing feedback. No. Now, Derek had a great point here. He's done it, and he says he's done divisions, vice individual teams. Really, the only team that matters, Derek, it's definitely a bar. I have no doubt about it. You are at a bar. You can't see it around me because I'm just not moving all my stuff, Derek, but you are 100% at my bar, and you're close enough to Doug's bar. His is if I remember right, yours is to the right now. Is that right? You're right.
It's now to my left. I'm actually turned around from how I normally sit.
Oh, okay. So you're in Trevor's seat.
Correct. That's right. So to go back to what Derek said, division versus individual. A division break, you would have, depending on the sport, 4 to 6 teams. If you're buying into a division in football, you're getting the AFC East or the NFC West. You're paying more, but you have a little bit more of a chance to win something. So if I pulled a NFC West, anything that came up, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, all those teams, Niners, I would get any one of those cards.
See, I like the idea of it, and I always talk to people about. So my favorite form of gambling is auctions. I love auctions, and I tell people this all the time. And this is kind of sounds a little along those lines, a little bit more risky. But I always tell people with auctions, what's great about them is the only form of gambling you will ever do. And probably somebody from Vegas will kick down my door here shortly if they hear me talking about this, because auctions is the only time you'll ever gamble on something you want, and if you win, you get your item. If you lose, you keep your money.
Sure.
There's no other form of gambling like that in the world.
Yeah.
You never thought about it like that.
But yeah, I mean,
And this is kind of like it's a gamble, but you're gambling. And if like so me, I love my Ravens.
I do.
So I would put out there, and if you run across Tyler Huntley, look, he is Lamar. Like, look, Lamarvelous. I'll give it to him all day long. But we had this conversation earlier. Tyler Huntley right now is the number one backup quarterback in the NFL. And
Yeah.
even that kid, Josh Johnson, that played on like
Yeah,
48
sure.
teams and 35 years old, if that guy doesn't get picked up for a team somewhere, I'll be mind boggled by it. But
Behind me, you can see that's my Aaron Donald rookie signed game worn jersey. And then this is a Johnny Hecker game worn jersey. It's from his Monday night game last year, special teams player of the week. This is my favorite player, Andrew Whitworth, big man, offensive tackle. And then this yellow jersey, that is Jared Goff's jersey from the Monday night football game against the Chiefs, where they won 54-51. That's the jersey he wore. And then that's the last jersey my father and I purchased together before it passed. So it has a lot more sentimental value to me than it has monetary value in general.
that little extra to it. And look, Tom, the Cincinnati Bengals won everybody's league. I had Jamar Chase on my fantasy team all season long, and then had him on for my championship over the weekend. The dude cut me 54 points.
Yeah.
I won 160 something to 80 something. It was ridiculous.
Incredible.
So now you've got these breaks. Now that's separate. Now is that separate from the mystery boxes? And I know
so the mystery boxes are we have 25 boxes in what we call the epic mystery breaks. 25 boxes. You buy a slot. So you're buying 2 or 3 at whatever price you want. And then we randomize, you're going to get a number between 1 and 25. 3 numbers, if that's how many you buy. And then you would get those boxes that are numbered like that. So that's the epic mystery box. Those are our breaks. And even beyond that, rather than we're trying to build an experience. So you come onto our chat, you come into our Twitch or YouTube, and we're a family. And so rather than it just you're buying the boxes, we also are trying to say, hey, look, you're buying 2 hours of family entertainment. It's like going to a concert or a movie. You've got a guy on there, DC the Breaker, who is incredibly charismatic, knowledgeable, funny, got a theater background, so he's great at improv, knows how to build drama. And we're all together. So it's like being at a bar, watching someone you love do something you enjoy. It's even more than the cards and the break. It's the experience. We're trying to build this entire experience so it's worthwhile. Even if you don't get the hit, you've had 2 hours of spending time with friends, having fun, and you got something good to come out of it as well.
All right, so we got to figure out how we're going to do one of these over StreamYard live from the bar. We'll do
Sounds
one
great.
night.
We're working on that. Like we're planning on doing some of these live at Comic-Cons and so forth. So,
oh God, could you imagine that would be fun? That would be fun for a panel. Like being able to like do a panel like that. That would be incredible. Just opening cards and just seeing. Now I want to get into the other side of this. And just Nick, we're going to talk about NFT. I promise you, because there's nobody I know who collects better than Doug. And as you see streaming across the bottom of our screen, DC Collects, that's with an S.com. Make sure you're going, you're checking that out. Trevor may peek his head up every so often. That's the big thing, is like we try to get Trevor to like peek his head up, and then he's like, and then he disappears.
Not tonight, but we'll make that happen. We'll do a brain trust where you've got the 3 of us there trying to out each other. But also, so DCD Collects is the website. It's also us on Instagram. Follow us there. We do art. We have art giveaways. We're interactive. We're trying, we're finding great artists to work with. That's our main sort of interactive area is Instagram.
Yeah, and you've got to come check it out, folks. It's neat. But now here's the other side. Now, we talked about this a little bit before the show. Someday, folks, I will figure out how to record the before the show and put it out as like a Patreon. I just haven't figured it out yet. So before the show, we were talking. I've done mystery boxes for years. There's some pretty famous ones out there. Loot Crate, I think, really kind of took that to the next level. Was like the first real
Mainstream.
nerd culture mainstream. You could buy it, and there was always every month there was a big giant giveaway. If you were the one that was picked, so instead of getting the regular Loot Crate box, you got a box that was worth X amount of dollars, $500, $1,000, whatever it was. But there's some other ones out there that can be less than desirable. We'll use that.
Sure.
I don't want to say somebody's stuff is garbage, but less than desirable. I'll get this. DC the Breaker. Derek just got his stuff, man. I mean, he just got his stuff. Just so you know, Derek's got his stuff. He's definitely has some hits in it. Just want to make sure you know that.
Derek is a wonderful friend, customer, and very enthusiastic supporter of what we're doing. You know, to go back to your point about
so how do you tell? Like, how do you get that? How do you figure out what I should or shouldn't be messing with?
Well, you know, like those mass-produced ones, like Loot Crate. I mean, that's a great example, and that's a great case, and there is reasons to get that, but those are generally mass-produced. There's going to be thousands upon thousands of them, and 99% of them will have the same thing, whether it be a pop or a shirt. I buy them for my kids. My daughter gets a My Hero Academia one. My son gets a Star Wars one. They're great, right? But they're sort of generic. And if you go to a Comic-Con, you see a ton of the boxes where it's just $25 for a box. And generally, they're going to be toys. They're going to be Funko Pops that are maybe 4 or 5 years old. We're building unique, what we call curated boxes, small. So almost bespoke boxes. There's 25 to 50. Each one is going to have,
excuse me.
Each one is going to have something like it's going to have an autograph card through Topps, and that autograph might be a Jeremy Bullock. It might be, David Prowse, Star Wars. It might be a Warwick Davis as Wicket. I mean, or you're going to get an original sketch. So each one of these boxes is unique. Most of our boxes feature original packs. We've done Hugh Jackman was one of our hits. We did a Wolverine run. And they hit the autographs in there were Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. You know, that was his first appearance as Deadpool in that Wolverine film. And they were autographed and authenticated through or actually that one I think was through Rittenhouse. But they also had artwork. So you had a chance of getting sketch cards. You had a chance of getting larger pieces of work. There aren't many of them. So they're going to be really high quality. They're going to have something unique. And they're going to be value. There's going to be something there. You may not get your total value back, or you might get multiple numbers of that value, but you're going to walk away going, I felt like that was worthwhile. Sometimes you buy these boxes, you open it and you go, there's nothing here I want. It's a iPhone case for an iPhone 6. There's a pop of Baker Mayfield that was made 5 years ago that nobody wants. There's a Brady Anderson Baltimore Orioles pop from the year he hit 50 home.
Hey, you watch your entire tongue there. Don't even you fall right off this podcast again. Don't want to hear that. Never talk bad about Brady Anderson. Chris Hoyles, Big Ben, Mike Musina was on that team. That team was amazing. They were amazing.
Harold Baines, all those guys. But I remember I have a Chris Hoyle signed game-worn catcher's glove. So I'm fond of that.
You saw what we're giving away here on the show, didn't you?
Yeah. Look at you.
So Ian Anderson is from here.
Yeah.
He went to high school up the street at Shen, and he was at the Albany Firewolves, which is our NLL team, National League Lacrosse, which I will tell you, for anyone who's listening, if you've never watched indoor box lacrosse, I promise you will watch indoor box lacrosse and think twice about an NFL game. I promise you. Like I took my mom to the home opener. She was up from Baltimore. I was like, well, you're in town. We haven't got to do stuff like this in a long time. Let's go to the home opener. My mother was so excited watching the fights.
Yeah, of course.
At one point in time, the goalies had taken off their pads and were throwing hands. It was such a good fight. It made it to ESPN. And this is
come on,
NLL.
man.
This is NLL. But
when I was
a
kid, I used to go to indoor soccer at the LA Forum. You know, it's like a much smaller field, or volleyball where they had like walls around it, so they like bounce the ball off the. Such a speed demon kind of game, and there was nobody going. We would buy the $5 tickets at the top of the Forum, walk down to the front seat. They'd give you a soccer ball at the end of the game, but they were so much faster, so much fun, engaging. It was a blast. You got to love that stuff. I love going minor league hockey, all that stuff.
Hold on. DC Breakers throwing out the Buffalo Bandits. DC, I'm old school. I was originally a Baltimore Thunder fan. I grew up watching the Baltimore Thunder when Gary and Paul Gates played. And if you don't know who Gary and Paul Gates are, if you're into lacrosse at anything, you might have seen Gates Lacrosse. That's the brothers own their own lacrosse company now. But we're giving away an Ian Anderson hat and autographed ball.
Wow.
It ends tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It'll end. So giving everybody a chance to listen on our Facebook, the Above the Bar podcast, Twitch, Twitter, all those locations, wherever you're watching, you can find the link is in there. Make sure you sign up, because it's not going to cost you anything. I'm not asking anything from you. Once it's done, it's gone. And you and I got to talk about some stuff afterwards, because I'm thinking about kind of a giveaway thing, but
all right,
you're my collector's master. I gotta talk to you about that. Look at that.
I am the commander-in-chief of collecting?
That's right. Commander-in-chief of collecting. So we have some of these boxes. And the reason I brought that up is you and I talked, what was it, about a couple weeks ago, about a box I got?
Yep. Yeah.
I spent a lot of money on the box. It was, and this is why I say that your stuff sounds great. A reputable site. I have no problem with the site and with the items they have, but it was $50-$60 for the box. I won it at an auction. They then charged me another $15 shipping and handling.
Wow.
It wasn't like it was a big box. It finally showed up at the house, and there was going to be a 10-0 card in there. There was a 10-0 card in there, and I was excited to see it. And I think we've talked about this before. The best way to see what your stuff is really worth, go on eBay, type it in, and see what they've sold for. Don't worry about what Beckett says. Don't worry about what Overstreet says. See what people are really paying for it. So I went on there and I'm looking. I can't find it, other than $2 and $3 for just loose cards.
Yeah.
I reach out to Doug. I'm like, Doug, help me out, man. So using his powers, he says, Murph, it's probably about a $10, $15 card, no more than 20. And it's a cool looking card. It's an Emmitt Smith 10-0. I think it was like 2002, something like that.
Mid-career, kind of a random insert, not a numbered high end or anything.
Right.
It probably cost as much to grade as it is to value. And in today's world, grading has gone crazy. But those types of boxes, and I remember looking at that and feeling a little bad that you had bought that. And you're getting, to me, those are things where they build massive amounts. They put one card in there that might be worth something, and you're hoping for that. We're on our end, we're really trying to build something that, like we said, we think long term. Like, would you buy that box again?
No.
So they kind of went big, and then it's a one and done kind of thing, right? We're hoping. So we have 25 boxes. We're going to try to have 5 to 10 hits in there where you feel like everybody's getting a chance to get something. It's a 1 in 3, 1 in 4, whatever you want it to be. But even if you're not getting the hits, you're going home with a sketch card, something that's this size. It may not be worth a huge amount of money, but it's an original piece of art, or a certified authentic autograph card from Topps or Rittenhouse of a character from a movie, something. You're getting something that does have some value. In addition, by opening it live, we're creating a larger experience. It's kind of like you and I talking. It'd be the same. Right. DC would be there opening cards, going, hey, you got the great Zatanna by X player, whatever. And so it's an experience. And so it's in addition to the value you get from the box, it's the experience of 2 hours with your family, with your tribe, with your community. I look at that bag or the box that you bought, and you go through those, and they're all kind of nothing cards
they
where
were
you're really
90s,
yeah,
a lot of
junk.
90s stuff in there. Stuff that I was like, it was a lot of it was that height of the card era
Yeah, what
where
we call the junk wax era. That
yeah,
91 to 99, the Fleer, the Donruss, the Tops, where the
the
banana
baseball,
card. Yeah.
yeah, the wood edge card
Yep.
from Tops, yeah, and it was a lot of that stuff. And like I said, the company that I bought it from is a very reputable company.
Sure.
They don't know what's in the box. They were auctioning off the box.
Yeah.
They are
Yep.
very reputable. I would never even badmouth them. I've gotten other stuff from them that is really cool. They have great movie memorabilia stuff. But I was just saying, it was one of those things that looking at your stuff and thinking about that, I was kind of like, this really kind of threw me off from that. I'm going to throw a twist into your thing, though. You know what you ought to do? You should let people just before it starts, once they have their number, auction off their number to somebody else. Are you willing to I love like my number, number 6. I'm all about the number 6. Sure. I don't know why. It just always has been. And if I didn't get that number, I might be like, Doug's got it.
So hey, that's fair. So DC and Trevor, let's make some notes. Let's have a 2-minute option of, hey, let's trade numbers if you want to do so.
Yeah, you could trade your number. But if you trade your number, it's got to be you can trade your number for a 5 spot and give the money to donation, give it to a charity or something like that. Yeah. The American Heart Association or something like that, or
sure.
cancer research.
Yeah.
And be you can trade it, but it's a $5 spot for you to trade it. And then you know what you really get into at that point is people will start I've got number 1. What are you going to give me for number 1? Will you give me 5? Will you give me, and see, we're on to this right now. We're into something. See, look at us. Trevor's digging it. I like it.
Nice.
Trading boxes is going to add another 3 hours to the break. Yeah. Well, see, that's what you got to do. So here's what you got to do, Derek, is they got to give you the numbers beforehand. And this is how you help build that community. Here's the Discord. It's a Discord. You got to have a Discord. And now you have a Discord.
We do it all video live because we want to be as transparent as possible. There have been in the past with other breakers, fraudulent things happen where they open a card. Oh, I got to go get the door, or I drop it. Something comes up or whatever. Our goal is to be as ethical and transparent as possible. So when we build the boxes here in California, they go into a box to DC out in Buffalo. He puts them on the screen, pulls them out there in whatever order, randomizes 1 through 25. Whatever the order is, that's how they get numbered. Then the names come in, and we randomize those. So there's no way they can say, hey, look, Doug knows Sean. He made sure he got number 6 because he knows number 6 has X. That has happened with other breakers in the past. Ooh. Our goal is to be as transparent as possible. We want people to walk away never doubting that a box has been fixed or was rigged in any way. We wouldn't sleep at night. We want people to walk away feeling comfortable with what we're doing. Now, when you do breaks with teams, you can also get them. You can break hey, I'll trade. You got the Rams, I got the Ravens. Let's do a trade that way. I've done that in the past, especially when I was working with DC. That can happen. Usually the number system kind of eliminates that because it's so randomized from the boxes being numbered in whatever order they're put in to the names to then being matched. We randomize numbers 7 times generally to make sure it's completely random. And that's worked out really well for us, I think. We want to be as ethical and above the board as possible.
I don't know if DC's still listening, but DC, I do not want your neighborhood bar. I do not want a local place. Beef on Wex sucks. And is it Anchor Bar or Duff's? That's all I want to know. Don't tell me the best place is the neighborhood place because I've had both and I know my opinion on them. But Beef on Weck sucks. I just want you to throw that out there to you. Do you know what Beef on Weck is? Do you know what that is?
I vaguely have heard of it, but I don't.
A sandwich out in Buffalo that they love, and it's like a Kaiser roll with a salt lick on top of it. Ah, there you go. See, DC, I agree
Anchor
with you.
Bar.
I really like Anchor Bar a lot. I agree with DC. Anchor Bar is better than Duff's, but Duff's has their own beer. I'll tell you that. Duff's has their own beer, so I give Duff's that. So now the next thing, and if Nick's still hanging out with us, my Nick, NFTs. I want to switch gears here for a second. So
NFT.
so tell everybody what NFT stands for. I don't even know what it stands for.
So an NFT is a non-fungible token. And really fungible, think of fungible as replacement. So a non-fungible token is a non-replaceable token. Think about if I wanted to buy a shirt like this, right? There are thousands of them out there. It's replaceable. But if I wanted to buy a Mike Trout game, or if I wanted to buy that Jared Goff jersey back there from that game, that's the only one. There's only that one warrant. It is identifiable. That is non-fungible. It cannot be replaced or replicated in any way. So that's really, if you think about it that way, non-fungible token means it's unique, one of a kind. And really, you see a lot of it now. People are a lot of it's with digital art. Someone will create a digital art piece, and they will then tie it to a particular NFT, which is a unique address, right? And it cannot be changed. Non-fungible can't be. It's kept out in public. Anytime that piece transfers, it's a public transaction. So,
like a stock.
Artists are taking these NFTs, and they're able to protect their work because no one can steal it or replicate it, and no one would believe it's real because they don't have the NFT. So if I created a piece of art digitally and wanted to sell it to you, I would do an NFT transfer through Ethereum or whatever you want to do. And then the public record would show that you now own that piece. So no one else could come along and say, hey, I own that piece of art. They could maybe replicate the artwork, but no one would ever be able to say they own that because in public record, you own that NFT. I own a few NFTs. They're low level. I bought them through Major League Baseball at bat, like an app. But they produced like an NFT of Derek Jeter's final at bat where he hit the home run, or I have Mike Trout's first home run, or him taking the ball away in Baltimore. Actually, those were Baltimore things. I bought those through MLB at bat. They were doing these. I bought them through OpenSea, which is a Bitcoin blockchain source. Not a lot of money. Didn't put a lot of money into them. But I technically own the Major League Baseball at bat version of that moment. Doesn't really matter. I have a few pieces that Major League Baseball did where they put out artwork of Mike Trout that were one of a kind. I bought those. So I can print that, and I have it, but anybody could print it. But I'm the only original owner of that piece. So that's really leaned into people are using these now to go crazy. The very first tweet by the guy that created Twitter,
$5 million or some shit.
$2.9 million for the NFT of I'm setting up my tweet. That's it, yeah. And so is that a crazy thing? Is that a COVID craziness thing? Is it the next thing happening? Nobody knows. We've all seen things go through the roof. And COVID has certainly affected how collectibles are thought of and treated. One of the things about NFTs and really any bit currency type stuff is they're non-regulated. They can be used to buy anything around the world. A lot of countries, people that have unstable currencies are buying into Bitcoin or these, cryptocurrencies because they're not related to their country's
right, their gross national product.
Yeah.
and that was my thing with the whole. So like the NFT, we've had some folks on. We've talked about that. Buddy of mine, Donnie, was on, and we were talking about it, and he's gotten into it with some podcasts that are about it. But I just don't. So I wanted to talk to you about it from a collecting standpoint, because you mentioned that MLB had it. I remember when this first like kind of the light bulb went off, and they were like, NFTs are a thing now. This is the first like official. There was like an official launch of NFTs,
Yep.
and DC kicked out some things like, hey, you can buy some original
Correct.
DC NFTs for like $75
Yep.
a pop.
Yep.
We've talked about, Donnie was talking to me about it, that you can own season tickets and transfer them. But every
Sure.
time the transfer is made, you make money on the transfer as an NFT. For those of us that are into the collecting world, like I was just at I got to show you. I'll show you in a little bit. I was just at a recent. I finally found a good yard sale, like indoor yard sale, like junk spot, and I'm like, what? I'll see you, Rob. Don't run too hard. You're in the Army. You might get hurt. But you know, it kind of has come up, this whole NFT piece, and I'm like, is it protecting those of us like a collector? Is it protecting us as a collector to say, hey, I own the NFT to, you talked about Jim Starling earlier, to Jim Starling's Iron Man 55 original cover page? Or is it causing it more of an issue to say, well, you ain't got shit, that's not the NFT? Like, where is do you understand what I'm saying? Like, where is, which one is more?
Like a Jim Starlin piece, the Iron Man or whatever you want to talk about. If it has original artwork, real artwork, I think you're getting into a much harder system. So you see it a lot more with the digital stuff. In terms of like season tickets and so forth, it's such a young collectible. Nobody really knows. In 10 years, it could be nothing, or it could be everything. I was watching a guy earlier today talk about, hey, just one night, go out to dinner, you spend a couple $100 or whatever, take that instead and buy NFTs, right? Buy cryptocurrency. And in 10 years, it could be worth 100 times more.
Right.
Or if not, then you've lost a night out with dinner. We don't know. And what we do know is that it's becoming a little bit more mainstream. I went to a football game, the Rams. I have season tickets, and the game against the Jaguars, weeks later, I got an NFT of my ticket. Now, does it have any value in the long run? Not a clue. People are selling them, and they're getting good amounts for them. But in a year, we have no idea. There's such a new concept with the artwork, and then they're useful in terms of, like, even if it's an original art and you can connect it, you say, hey, this is the chain of provenance, right? Like, hey, it went from here to here to here. I know where things are. There is a real value to that. But when we see things going for $3 million to, $600,000 for a flying cat with the rainbow coming in out of its butt, you go, God, what the hell's going on? And it's so new, we don't really know. And I can't tell you.
And that's my whole thing. Like if you said to me, hey, the Mona Lisa is priceless. Absolutely. There's, as far, well, who knows? The conspiracy theorists will tell you it's been stolen, it's been lost forever and all that shit. But this NFT, here's what throws me off to it, is somebody says, well, I've got the NFT of, Mike Trout's first home run. Great. I'll go watch it on TV, or I can download that. Like, where, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out in these NFTs is, and for those who don't know, NFTs are tied to blockchain. Blockchain is crypto, and is it Ethereum?
Ethereum.
It's your Ether currency.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's not go there. Ethereum.
It's all dicked up at that point. It's urethra currency. It's all dicked up.
Wow. Let's go there, huh? and
But
like I bought the Trout one. I mean, that's a great example.
you love
I
Mike Trout. You would
I like Mike Trout,
you would
but
date
and I
Mike Trout
bought
on
it
the side.
because it was new, it was interesting, it wasn't a crazy price. Couple
What's
hundred
not a crazy?
bucks.
I was about to say, what's not a crazy price?
Couple $100 for that. I mean, it was like at the time like 0.5 of an Ethereum. Now I think it's like 0.13 something or other. Not a huge amount, right? I mean,
Right.
if it's a
So
night out,
it's directly tied to that currency.
correct. Yes. Okay. And so that to me was worthwhile to say, hey, I own. And the other thing that to think about, if you're talking about baseball players or something, anything that's licensed, at any point, you don't own that license. So what's happened is someone has bought an original piece of, say, digital art of Batman. DC can just say, nope, you don't have it because we own the image. We own the rights to that artwork. We're going to pull it. And all of a sudden, whatever you've paid, you've lost. So right. The NFTs I bought were through Major League Baseball at Bat, which is sort of an app they have that kind of runs baseball games. You can listen to the radio. It kind of gives you a digital play-by-play. It's licensed. So they're able to use the logos. They're able to use the moments. But I have no cons. I have no belief that in 10 years I'm going to retire on the fact that I own an NFT.
Right. But I mean, I guess, Mike Trout, cool. When he goes in, cool. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, no doubt about it in my mind. Like Trout's a Hall of Famer. And I had to look it up once we started talking about it. So if you're interested in the DC stuff, I imagine Marvel's doing it also. You go to the you just type in DCU NFT and it comes up to register for DC fandom and receive free NFT.
Yeah.
Now there's something for you to think about.
So they'll be like you'll buy a pack and then there'll be 5 commons, an uncommon, maybe a rare, and then there'll be a little bonus thing that'll be thrown in there that if you buy a pack, you get a free card. You see that through.
Are there cards? The DC
you can buy NFT cards. You can buy packs of cards. Panini has done it. Topps has done it. I know I own some from Doctor Who because I'm a nerd.
Doctor Who.
But you can also the basketball. The NBA really they piloted a program where you can buy. Say there's a big basketball game. The Lakers are playing. LeBron makes a huge slam dunk. They'll sell the NFT of that 3-second clip of LeBron doing that dunk. And so you can say you own that to whatever point you own it, and you own it, which is cool, but can you do anything with it? You don't own the rights to reproduce it. You don't own the rights to market it. You don't own the rights to do anything with it other than, thanks, Trevor. You don't own the right to do anything other than say I own it. And so a lot of times people are saying these NFTs that are big money are people who are kind of just out there swinging themselves around like, hey, I've just spent $1 million on something.
Let me show you what I can do.
Exactly. Or there's some sort of, money laundering system going in.
Well, that's always my thing with any of that shit is, there's some backdoor. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, well, while we're talking, I was going to try to buy an NFT for DC and just see if I could do it. Because I guess I'm just curious, like, how easy is this stuff, I'll just buy one, and just see what it does.
And there are plenty of marketplaces that are out there. I use OpenSea. Coinbase is the wallet I use. You sort of need to have a wallet and an account. And so, like, if you go to OpenSea, you'll see the ones I own. But when I want to buy something, I have to go through my wallet, convert it to whatever account they're using. Then I have to connect them, and I have to I get a number on my phone. It says, is this really you? Put in your code and go that way. So you need to have a wallet that houses your cash or your Bitcoin. And there are plenty out there. I use Coinbase because that was the one I Googled.
I have Coinbase. Yeah.
And that's a great one. And then you go to OpenSea or any of these other ones and you connect it. And so then when you find something you want to buy, then you do the transaction. And there's a big debate in the BitCurrency world where, originally cryptocurrency was supposed to be quick, painless,
Right.
no fees for transferring. And now, of course, it can take days, and you have to mine to get extra transactional fees happening. So there's a big debate even in the cryptocurrency world about, has it left what it was supposed to be? Big problems, big debates within all that world, as any world of collecting.
I have a friend who actually mines at his home. He's like, it's not a lot. He goes, it's like 30 some dollars a day. He goes, but it's there. And that was another one. Like that's been a big debate here in New York. But I really I went on this DCD site and they were like, yeah, go here and you can get fucking NFTs for free. I'm like, I'm not saying nothing. So somehow have to teach me how to do it because I'm trying to figure this out. Because, I need Mike Devereaux's. I need Mike Devereaux. I need a Mike Devereaux NFT. You think that exists? Do you think I'm the only person?
Who the hell
other
knows?
Than Mike Devereaux's mom? Do you think
there you go.
The only person on the planet that would want a Mike Devereaux NFT?
But you could create above the bar podcast artwork, and then you could then connect it to an NFT, and you could auction it off for charity, or you could sell them to raise funds. And so, like, you could say, here is the red version of my logo. Here is the blue version. There was an auction a couple months ago of the guy that had created the tongue logo for the Rolling Stones. He came up with 7 or 8 different tongue logos, and then sold the NFTs of them. So you got the NFT and you got the digital artwork, but you also then got the original artwork to go with it. And these were going in the millions of dollars prices. Major League Baseball sells them where you can buy a design of, they'll have 100 of them. 1 will be gold, 10 will be silver, and the rest will be bronze. The bronze ones come, you get the poster. The 10 ones come signed, and the gold one comes with a signed poster and an autographed baseball. I mean, there's ways of making kind of like cards, right? You've got the 1 of 1, right, the 1 of 5, the 1 of 25. They're the same card, different colors. You get the same thing in NFTs. So if you go buy a pack of baseball NFTs, you might get a gold 1 of 1 Mike Devereaux, or you might get that's Chris Brady Anderson. That's what you really want. You get 50. And so we get into the concept of kind of like cards, forced rarity. Would you rather have a 1 of 1 that you're paying $100,000 for, or a 1 of 99 that you're paying $40 for? You're playing the chance you might get that 1 of 1 that's worth a lot of money.
Now, one of you that is listening, because I'm not good at this shit, find me the DC NFT, send me the link. I'll go in, I'll buy an NFT from DC right now. My wife loves Wonder Woman. I'll buy a Wonder Woman NFT for my wife.
Yeah.
So we'll make this happen if somebody can figure out how to do it. I just tried to do it. I couldn't figure it out. So, but how do you feel like it? But do you think it's going to hurt the collecting world? I guess that's my whole thing. Because when I think about collecting, we've always had the upper echelon. Like if you go to NYCC, there's an amazing booth that my best friend Ken and I always go by. I just want to go buy these guys because I'll never be able to touch their stuff. But everything they've got is like Hawk 181. Yeah. And I'm not going to tell you who that is. If you don't know what it is, go figure it out. I'll let my nerd flex for a moment. But Hawk 181, that's a 9.8 sitting there. There's this one particular collector, he's always got the cream of the crop. He does not mess with bad stuff. So I think about this guy and I think he's on a special level. And we've all known those guys. And I have books. Here's a perfect example. I have issue 1 Justice League of America.
Sure.
But it's got a replacement cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
Cover was lost, replacement cover on it. It's worth about $160. But you know what I can say? I got one.
You own it.
I got one. I own one. Tom, love you too, brother, man. Be safe. We'll talk soon. But I just wonder in this whole NFT piece, are we trying to get too Nat's ass about what's collectible? Like if you told me, hey, I've got the bat, I've got the shoes, I've got the ball for who's that guy? Mike Trout. I've never heard of him. Never heard of the guy. He
The
plays
thing about Kirk Gibson,
soccer.
I had the jersey, bat, and helmet from the '88 World Series.
Right. And we've talked about that whole go back and listen to our first show together. That is a whole thing in and of itself, how Doug ended up with that. He's lucky his mom didn't disown him. She's a good lady. She's a good lady.
Supportive. She was supportive.
He's lucky. Like I said, he's lucky his mom didn't disown him. But that's a perfect example. If you told me you had all those things, but if you told me, hey, I've got a picture of that happening, I would probably tell you, okay. Yeah. Like I just don't understand. I don't understand the excitement about it.
I mean, there are people who are out there who go, God, you pay money for guys on a card. You pay Mike Trout went for $4 million, or LeBron James or Luka Doncic. If you're paying that kind of money for stuff.
What Trout went for $4 million?
His rookie card, a 1-of-1 or 1-of-5 for $4 million auction.
Doug, you just went all crazy on me. You said Mike Trout. You froze on me.
Oh, I'm gone.
You're frozen, Doug. You're frozen. And as you said, so all right, you're back. So Mike Trout rookie card. You said it was a 1-of-5?
1-of-1. I don't remember exactly, but it was sold through Golden Auctions and it brought huge money, 4-point-something million. And like people are spending that kind of money for a card that's 11 years old, or Luka Doncic, or these guys who were drafted in the NBA a year ago. Their rookie cards are going for millions of dollars if you get the 1-of-1 logo shield or shoe, and then they get hurt and then they're not worth anything. I mean, to me, and it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. I'm such a logical collector, which rarely coincides. But when you say, "Hey,
we're not good at that,"
a Mickey Mantle card is going to sell for X amount of dollars. The 52 Topps card. I understand the demand. I understand the rarity. I understand. That makes sense to me. But when I hear cards that are just a few years old for a guy that could get injured, even Mike Trout, I mean, he's 11 years. He's been in the league 11 years. He's most likely a Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a little bit more stability.
Pardon? First ballot.
I mean, probably, could go off the rails, but someone like, Jean Morant, who's a great player, but he's been in the league a year and a half. Maybe he gets hurt, and then the value's gone. When it comes to NFTs, they've really only been a thing. They've been around since mid 2010, 2015. But have
they been around that long?
Blockchain and so forth. NFTs, I think, first appeared in 2014. I don't know that. Don't quote me on that. But the concept of them as a real collectible, that's 2020. We're talking pretty recent. We just don't know. And if someone spends $3 million on a tweet, are we going to go in 5 years go, okay, what's the big deal? Or, oh my God, he owns the first tweet. And there are times where the notoriety gives it that value as well. Hey, you spent $3 million on something you don't know or you don't really own, but we all know that transaction. Therefore, we accept that the value is worth X amount of dollars.
Well, that's the other side to it. Is you and I are talking about this, and we're talking about a tweet that was $3 million. What was it? The video, "Ow, Charlie," where the kid, the English kid, was like 1.2 or 1.6 million dollars.
Yeah,
we're talking about this, and you and I are looking at it and going, "This is insanity." Yeah. But at the same time, I'll flip the script on both of us.
Yeah,
people that can pay that kind of money for that something frivolous do not care. No, it means nothing to them. It never crosses their mind to say, well, my God, 1.2 million, that charter school down the street for $1.2 million,
sure,
I could fund them for years. They could give two shits about that, folks. I hate to be the person.
But you also, that person who bought that could also buy that and fund that charter school.
Exactly.
I mean, they could do both, and we just don't know. Like I look at I've been a big collector. I've bought big items and I've spent stuff I shouldn't have spent, and I've spent numbers I shouldn't have spent there too. But I look at these things and I don't get it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm wrong or I'm right. I'm probably just too old school. I look at these baseball cards with cut up jerseys or shoes, and they're going for huge amounts of money. I'm like, I could just go buy a jersey.
Monster
I would rather
money.
own a game worn uniform. Like, to me, that's
Thank you.
an entire thing. But we also understand collecting. You do things because they bring you joy, or they make those, those joy cells in your brain pop up and you enjoy it, or the thrill of being in an auction, right? And you're bidding and something against you. That's a real buzz, right?
How many auctions have you been to? Do you know how many auctions you've been
to? Probably hundreds. I mean, I've been working with auctions my entire adult life. I've been, you name the auction house in the U.S., even in Europe. I've probably worked with Bonhams, Heritage, Golden, Sports Cards Plus, Robert Edward auctions, Love of the Game auctions, Huggins and Scott auctions. I've worked with them all, and I've been to live auctions. I've been to online auctions. I've handled it through video, through phone. I used to do it on paper, through teletrade. And you're writing in your bids and faxing them over.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Remember that? You had to fax in your bid sheets and stuff like that.
God, I'm trying to find.
And there is a thing where where people are against each other and bidding, and there's a thrill, and the crowd is cheering you on, and the auction house is the guys there talking to you. I just watched a great documentary about the lost Da Vinci that was originally sold for $425 million, and they still question its authenticity. But
really,
the value of it is half in its notoriety, half in its potential. Its availability, as they say in sports, the best ability is availability. Go find a Da Vinci, right? Well, this is one that might be a Da Vinci. If it is, then it's worth all that. If it's not, then you're playing with your money. But it's just one of those things where auctions, particularly, you can get caught up in the moment. And OpenSea runs auctions, right? So they'll say, hey, we've got this NFT and you can bid. And if you bid on one, then I've got a day to respond. Unlike eBay, where they say, here's our end time. Some auction houses say if someone else places a bid, you get a time to respond, and you can go back and forth. Auctions are really what two people are willing to pay plus one more, right?
But that's the reality of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so the market, it might not even be setting the market because there's two of us that are bidding. And then if I'm out of the market because I won, then the value might drop because you're the only other person wanting that piece. All of a sudden, there's no real market for that anymore. But the current price is what two people are willing to pay, plus one person going a step further. Like, I want this. So, and when you're talking $400 million, the next bid, you're adding $25 million per bid. Whereas, we're bidding on eBay and it's $1 or $25 increments.
51 cents. 51
yeah,
cents.
It's crazy. Yeah, crazy.
So here's what I need from you, Doug.
Yes, sir.
You're ready to put a bow on this thing. I need either a Brandon Stokely Ravens jersey sign. Brandon Stokely. Because I'm going to tell you, Brandon Stokely won. People miss this all the time. He doesn't get enough credit as being one of the greatest wide receivers in Baltimore Ravens history.
Sure.
He doesn't get enough credit. And for those of you who don't know who Brandon Stokely is, go look at the size of a monstrous, fast 2000s wide receiver who used to just eat guys up. Oh, and by the way, he then went to Indianapolis with a guy named Peyton Manning and made him look good too.
Big.
So I need that.
All right.
I want to Tyler. I'm really into this Tyler Huntley right now.
Sure. Right on. And that's the thing. Like maybe you buy like, you want to get that like Aaron Donald jersey. I got that, and he's
Never heard of him.
become arguably the top defensive player in the last
Never heard of him.
15 years. Yeah.
Never heard of him.
He did cause a little bit of havoc this last week game. I don't know who they were playing, but he was in the backfield.
Never heard of him. Never heard of the guy.
But and so really going back to collecting, there is the rookie craze, right? You're trying to hit a lot of. We were kids, we bought Chris Sabo cards or
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf. We're buying boxes trying to get those rookie cards on the
fucking Messiah.
Bill Nevin. I mean, all these great ones we were buying, and essentially now they're pennies to the dollar, if even pennies to the dollar. Whereas Mike Trout rookie cards are worth $10,000 to $20,000
because nobody knew who he was at the time. He was a nobody.
Nobody really, because the big thing at that time was Bryce Harper, right?
Oh God, yes, God, I forgot all about Bryce Harper.
Comparison, he was the big prospect. No one really gave Mike Trout much thought, and all of a sudden he's now the guy. We're all trying, like, so you want to get the
I mean, Bryce Harper still isn't a bad. It still isn't a bad.
Of course. And I think he's one of those guys that is both overrated, underrated at the same time.
Right. Yeah, we all expected him to be the
like, that's pretty good, but he's kind of a jerk, so people don't like him, whatever.
Well, that's the other side.
But we're trying to hit these things. And so we buy these cards trying to hit the rookie cards. You're buying a jersey of a player you might really like because you think he's going to go big. I had a Troy Glaus jersey, and he was a great player, but it's not worth anything. I was a big Darren Erstad guy, and so I bought Darren Erstad, but I also happened to be a Mike Trout guy. So I have 11 Mike Trout game-worn jerseys, and I've done well with those. We're all trying to hit that. That's the thrill.
Can you get the Terrell Suggs Bane mask? Can you get the Terrell Suggs Bane mask? Does anyone know where that is?
I don't know.
I showed that to my 4-year-old the other day. Terrell Suggs coming out of the tunnel. Your 2011 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, T Sizzle, and he's got the mask on, and my 4-year-old's like, Dad, what has he got on? Oh my God. Like, and that's the other thing that, and we'll get ready. I know we all got to get ready to put a bow on it. It's like, it's almost bedtime out in California for you. But no, seriously, I mean, the NFT thing really has me thrown off on, is it or isn't it worth it? Is it or isn't it of a value as a collector? Because I love my comic books right now. I kid you not. And we didn't even get to it. To my left, I'm looking at in my opinion, I'd love to get it CGC'd, a mint Batman. Oh God, what do they call it? The Black Series, Batman the Damned.
Yeah.
I've never even cracked the spine on that thing to read it, because here's a perfect example of something that when the artist actually did the book, there was 2 things in there that really set the DC world on fire, which was there's a crucified Batman. So everybody's like, oh my God, you crucified Batman.
Yeah. Sacrilegious.
How dare you? The bigger thing was Batman is completely butt naked, full frontal nudity inside of that book.
Yeah.
And that was the piece that slipped through. That book, when it was first came out, guys were getting them CGC'd at 10.0, but just buying it, never cracking the spine.
Yeah.
A ton of them going for $1,000 and $2,000 a pop.
Yeah.
And I think about that as I look at it, and then down below that, I'm looking at Tales of Suspense, Iron Man and Captain America, issue number 81. Static Shock, who they're talking about bringing finally into the DC, regular DC. I've got the first 5 issues of that sitting there. To my right, I've got some, great books sitting here. I think about those, and then I think about this whole NFT thing, and it actually kind of, as a collector, I'm like, I get you because you're a big Trout fan. Look, trust me, there's nobody I know that you would. Let's be honest. Would you make out with Mike Trout?
No. But I hired an artist. I have I commissioned a piece of art by the most famous baseball artist today, a guy named Greg Kriendler, who just on his Instagram today posted a work in progress of my Mike Trout piece. And it's gorgeous. It's going to fit on my wall between my jerseys. And it's a great piece of art by an actual artist. And I think about what I'm paying for that versus NFT. I'm a tangible guy. Look, I want to be able to hold it.
Thank you.
Own it, touch it, share it with people.
Right.
But it's what I've learned over the last 40 years of collecting is somebody will collect anything, right? Like there's somebody you go, I collect stickers. Some jerk's putting them on his back wall or whatever. That's his life. Yeah. Versus, collecting lighters or people who collect pens from the hotels they've traveled. Right. There is something for everybody. And we all collect differently. Some of us are speculative. Some of us are set collectors. Some of us are completists. We want to build a comic book. Some of us prefer game worn. I mean, there are so many ways to collect something. And it can be digital. It can be emotional. We talk about collecting memories. It could be tangible. It can be fungible or non-fungible. There's no right way to collect. Now, we can sit here and go, boy, we don't understand it. And in 3 years, it might all be gone. Or in 3 years, it might be the way to do everything because you can track each piece individually. There's a provenance to it. We just don't know. And it's such a youthful collection that we don't know. And like all things that kind of like hit the ground fast is they're going to come in like a meteor, right? They're going to be big. They're going to be flashy. And then some will hit the ground to become meteorites. And those are the ones that stay with us, right? Like they've grown in value. They're tangible, to use that word. Or they might just burn up in the sky. We never see them again.
It'll be a Liefeld It'll be like a Liefeld drawing.
Yeah.
Liefeld was big and he was flashy, and now nobody wants his shit anywhere. I mean,
and that's just.
This is amazing, brother. DC collects with an S at the end of it. .com.
DC collects.
The bourbon and the beer are catching up.
I know. Hey, I feel you, brother.
DCD collects with an S at the end of collects, folks.
Correct.
Make sure you're checking them out. Make sure you're going on there. Make sure you're checking it out. I think Doug and I are going to have to figure out a way that maybe I'll buy into one of these boxes.
We'd love to have you, man.
Maybe we'll buy into one of these boxes. We'll see what we got to do to stream it on the show, and we'll
even
do a
beyond
whole thing.
That. Join our community. Just come to our chats. You don't have to buy anything to be a part of our community. Just sit there and talk to people. They follow you. You saw there's, Derek.
You guys got a great crowd. Even Trevor. Got a great crowd. Even Trevor.
But we've built this community. Our tagline, we're cultivating collectors, creating community, right? And we're trying to grow people, and we're trying to build this place where we can all do it together. Cultivating collectors, creating community. That's what we're trying to do.
That's awesome. And it's such I just love it because, it's funny, we'll get right, as I keep saying, we're going to put a bow on this, but for those of you that don't know Doug and I, we could probably sit here for freaking hours on end.
From breakfast till the bar, we could do this.
Yeah, from breakfast to the bar, we could sit here and do this because this is what we enjoy. I will tell you now, that box we talked about earlier, to bring it full circle, as much as I opened it and I went, meh, my 12-year-old who isn't into baseball, he'll sit and watch a football for like 3 minutes and then walk away from dad, sat there and looked at those cards and was interested. Who are these guys, Dad? What do they matter? Why are they important? Why are they on here? And he even went back and looked some guys up. And I even handed him the box. I said, son, look these guys up. See who they are. Because now he's a hockey kid.
That has value. I mean, that is a non-tangible value that was added.
Put a number on that.
Time with your children. They expanded on it in some way. So you might have spent X amount of dollars on that and felt like you got lesser amount than it was worth. But you look back and, hey, I spent this an extra amount of time with my family. He went further above and beyond. There is value to that. And that is that is a collection too, right? You look back now and think about, hey, I
It's a
did that.
collection of memories.
I collect because my dad collected and we did it together. And I go back to that. It's my Zen moment where I'm doing this and I have these great memories. There is value to that. So maybe you spent $50 on a box of cards in 1993 that today is worth nothing. But you spent an hour, I spent an hour with my dad opening those packs, talking sports, bonding. That is valuable. And that is a collection as well. It's a connection. And we do things because we connect to them. We connect, you and I connect over so many different topics and localities. There's a reason you and I gel so well together because we have a
are lucky we're on either. Our wives are lucky we're on opposite coasts.
Absolutely. But there's this commonality of language and like you found your tribe and that matters. So you had for a few moments, you had a commonality of time and interest with your son. And there is immense value to that.
Brother, I always appreciate you coming on. It's always so much fun. And if you guys haven't figured it out, since Doug came on the first time, Doug and I will sit down after this is over with and we'll figure out in 3 months when Doug will come back and we'll talk more collectibles. Doug is the only truly Fox a little bit. I have talked to Fox in a while, but Doug is my true reoccurring guest. He keeps us grounded. He lets us know what's going on in the collecting world, what's important, what we need to be looking at. NFTs are a thing right now. So he's talking to us about NFTs. DCD Collects with an S at the end of it.com. Make sure you're going and checking his stuff out. For those of you that jumped on our Twitch, thank you so much. I'm really trying to push this Twitch piece. It's a, well, you know what? We can talk about it afterwards, but that's for me, for what I do.
Yeah.
Twitch is my NFT.
Yeah.
They have become such a big piece. Hello, Melissa. That has become such a big piece for my world, increase in my Twitch following.
Yeah.
I don't know Twitch. All of them look at me and go, this old dude with this gray ass fucking skunked beard, what is he doing on Twitch?
Yeah.
Because I'm your old daddy. I mean, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. Twitch makes streaming easy. And so
does.
when we do our breaks, they go through Twitch, they go through YouTube, and we're gonna be working on creating our other own content type stuff. But you got to start somewhere, man, and you got to keep trying new things, and it works. Fun. Hard work is rewarded, right?
It absolutely is. And you know the deal, Doug. We're gonna get ready to close this thing up, and and I forgot about this. Let's not forget how important this is. collectionconnection.com.
Collectionconnection.com. That's where
the THE collectionconnection.com.
Yeah, I have people contacting me. They inherit collections. They're looking for advice or guidance on how to sell their collections, where they'll get the best response. Where people try to sell collections they've inherited locally. They get screwed. They contact me. I am fair. I'm neutral. I know I have all the connections to the auction house. I can put them in contact.
Maybe that's next for us, though. Maybe that's next for us.
Okay.
We'll put it. We got 3 months. So what is it? January. So what is it? April timeframe will be our next one. Then in April, for those of you that are listening to this one, send me or send Doug something out of your collection that you want to know about. And we will tell you nothing about it. We won't know anything about it, but we will be like, that shit's cool. And we'll go.
We will completely make it up and give you the absolute wrong facts.
Absolutely.
It's like when people ask questions and say wrong answer only. That's what we'll do.
We will give you some jacked up shit. Be like, that would be great as a cake topper. We'll just go through it that way, brother, man. As always, folks, if you're enjoying this, make sure you take a moment. Follow Doug on DCD Collects on Instagram. He's got a Facebook. I don't know if he'll follow you back on Facebook, personal Facebook, but you know what? You got to figure that shit out yourself.
We'll give it a shot.
Our Instagram here is so as we've grown, and for our LinkedIn audience, whoever logged in for LinkedIn, thank you so much. This is a new piece for us. I worked on getting the LinkedIn piece up. We have a personal, just straight up LinkedIn LinkedIn page for the show. And everything is the Above the Bar podcast, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitch. Our email is theabovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. The only one that's different, just because Twitter just doesn't love me as much as I think Twitter should, but I'm not buying a tweet for $2.9 million of an NFT. Just not happening. So our Twitter is at Above the Bar 4, because there were some other ones out there. So
Crazy.
Isn't it silly? It was too long, they said. I've never had that happen to me before, but that time they said it was too long. So please make sure you're following our stuff. If you're listening to this, make sure you go ahead and on your phones. If you're watching the live right now, make sure you go onto your phones or your podcast devices and you subscribe to this. This is the only way it gets growing. This is the only way our community grows. It's the only way Doug's community grows. Doug and I are going to talk. I think we should do it. Let's figure it out. If Trevor lets us. Trevor's the boss. We all know Trevor's the boss. That's why he's never on the camera. Doug is the face. Trevor is the boss. We know.
And if this is the face of our franchise, we're in sad shape of affairs, right? What are we talking about?
Oh, goodness. Well, you know the deal, Doug. The guest always gets the last word. So what is the last word?
I will just tell you that this community that you have and my community, it's been so much fun merging them together and getting to talk to you. This concept of coast to coast collecting, which is something I think you and I could maybe branch out on and talk about, is wonderful. I always enjoy coming in and talking to you. I love collecting. I love what it brings. I love what it can do for people. These communities that we've become part of through this or our collections, they become sort of our family, our tribe, and we feel comfortable. And through all this chaotic time of the world that's going on for whatever reasons, finding a place where you can be at peace and talk a shared language and be together is immensely valuable. Whether it's talking football, Ravens, Rams, or Orioles, or Angels, or whatever, whatever gives you comfort and peace. Collecting, family, time, just keep doing it and cultivate that.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation, found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.